Welcome back, ladies, gentlemen, and all you freaking nerds. I'm lightheaded because I held my breath for so long doing that. Welcome back. We are Untitled Waypoint, and we are here, not where we usually are. I'll tell you what. We're usually at my boy, who is, again, still sitting across from me at this table. We're usually at his upper room. Yep. Now we're in my upper room.
That's right.
It's hot. There's no AC up here.
It's not that bad.
I'm sweating. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. It's been a couple weeks.
It has been.
It's been busy.
Yeah, I've been a little busy.
I know you have. You moved?
I moved. I got a job. I got a dog.
I mean, that's a lot of changes.
I bought a mouse.
Wow.
For that job. And I have to tell Razer, they're not allowed to view my data privacy for my job.
Because a mouse tracks your privacy?
Yeah.
That's
well,
weird.
Razer, it's like a Razer Synapse thing. They try to. It's freaking nice. I like the mouse.
It's a nice mouse.
It's a nice mouse. It's a big mouse. I was
Death
using
Adder.
I know, it's freaking cringe. I had to message our IT guy.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah,
Fritz?
so and I was like, I didn't read the reviews until after I bought it, and everyone was pissed off. You can cancel the installation, but it's always going to push to you.
Right.
So it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
But people are like, why would you want to do this? I don't want to put it on my computer. And for some reason, they just hit cancel. But
well, you want to know speaking of IT guy, speaking of jobs, when I had that job, you know how they make everybody have like a set password and they have to set it up for you? Yeah, it
was cringe.
Well, we had a meeting where they were like, yeah, we're doing audits of everybody that has insecure passwords. And I knew, I was like, oh, mine's not abiding by the policy. I knew that, like the work policy in the handbook.
Oh, yeah.
However many characters and special characters.
Yeah.
I knew for a fact mine wasn't. So, like, right after the meeting, I went right to my desk, changed my password, crashed my whole system.
Yeah, it's a big no-no.
Dude.
You have to go through like 8 levels of security to change your password.
I didn't know. I just went and changed it on the Windows system. It crashed my laptop, or it crashed my PC. I could not. It like blue screened, dead.
Wow.
And he came over there, the IT guy, and he's like, "Hey, what's going on?" And I said,
I have no clue.
I changed my password, and this is happening. And his face just goes blank, and you could tell he hated his life. He had just told me that day that he had a hard time taking lunch because he was so busy, and I was like,
he is busy all the time.
Yeah. So, I'm a software engineer now, though. I wasn't at the time. I was big dumb. I'm still dumb, but
I'm a cattle.
you're cattle.
I just churn out the meat for the man.
That's what I do.
Yeah, but you're like higher level.
Yeah.
I'm cattle.
Still a code monkey.
I eat poop.
Eat grass.
I eat grass and poop, and I'm still warm. I'm still sitting here. I'm sweating. I'm waiting for you to sweat because you're going to get cuter when you're glistening from all the sweat.
I'll bring it back around.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So, ladies, gents, if you like that song that you listened to, which you probably did because you have good taste because you're listening to this podcast, you're going to want to hit on my boy A Cloudy Sky. You can listen to him anywhere that you get music. That's A Cloudy Sky. Sky is spelled S-K-Y-E. So just watch out for that E. All right. We're going to talk about something that we recorded in episode 4.
It was episode...
It was supposed to be the second episode.
2. Yeah, episode 2.
It was supposed to be the second episode. We recorded this February 26th.
Yep.
That was 6 months ago.
Yep.
That was half a year ago. We recorded it.
That's crazy.
That's insane.
I don't feel like we've been doing this for half a year. That is insane.
Well, we've been taking...
Right after your birthday.
We have been taking a number of breaks.
Yes.
But we recorded it. we hit stop on GarageBand, and you go, that sucked. So we're redoing it, and I'm excited for it, but I know that you're more excited for it.
Yeah.
Because this is your jam.
This is my thing. I've had 2 of these. My first one was 3D platformers. We did that. And I think I mentioned on that episode that story-driven single-player games are like my second. They're probably actually my most favorite genre, but I really like 3D platformers. A lot of the time, 3D platformers fall into this.
Yeah, they're kind of hand in hand.
Blend, yeah.
Yeah.
I will say that when we were first doing this back in February, I was confused about my terminology here, and I was using like narrative games for this, which that's not what they are.
It's cardinal sin.
It's cardinal sin. So I should go ahead and mention that, since this is the second time we're recording this. I want to get everything right this time. Narrative games are things like Detroit Become Human. That's a narrative game. We were just talking before this, the Telltale. I gotta make sure I say that correctly.
It's super easy. I
Telltale.
usually just say Telltale.
That's what I feel like.
Telltale.
Yeah, Telltale.
But I think it's also interesting because it's like in the name.
Yeah.
Telltale.
Telling a tale?
It's like that's what a narrative is.
Yeah.
You are telling a tale. You have influence on, but you don't have a ton of influence.
Yeah.
It's kind of very linear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That was
God.
brutal. All right.
That like wrecked
That
my
sounded
vocal cords.
painful, dude.
That was. Sorry. Go ahead.
Anyway, Life is Strange, Until Dawn, Telltale, Gone Home. A lot of the free PlayStation games.
Yeah.
That's how I have a lot of these. PlayStation really pushes these. But that kind of goes hand in hand with a big point in this episode is that I think the reason that I've always been a PlayStation guy versus Xbox is because these kind of games are what attracts me more than multiplayer. Mm-hmm. And going down through this list, when I was preparing this, I went through and looked at the most popular games that are single player, heavily story driven, things like that. Action adventure is really what a lot of these are too. And you have, Ghost of Tsushima, Uncharted, God of War, The Last of Us, Spider-Man, Horizon, Ratchet and Clank, which just came out. Came out like a month ago. I just beat it. I just got it. Came out just now in my mind. All of those, PlayStation. Then you go and look at Xbox, and they have some, but they're all cross-platform. Like you've got the Batman Arkham, you've got The Witcher, Red Dead, Assassin's Creed.
Which, honestly, sorry to interrupt, like even Witcher and Assassin's Creed, Witcher since the second one, and Assassin's Creed since they went more of the open world type whatever.
Yeah.
Those are really heavy RPG.
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
Honestly, I would even
That's true.
say they're especially Valhalla.
Yeah.
I played it I probably put like 30 hours in.
Yeah.
I couldn't care less what I was doing in terms of the story.
Yeah.
I just wanted to take my shirt off.
Yeah.
And go freaking slaughter some people.
Yeah.
It was awesome. Terrible game though.
I think a lot of times, especially as we go on, a lot of the games that are single player games lean more towards the RPG side of things.
They've gotten more out. Yeah.
Like Uncharted, God of War, Ghost of Tsushima, Last of Us.
Even the more recent God of War is
It's
pretty
got-
RPG.
it's got a lot of
The
elements.
prior ones are.
Yeah.
But the more recent one, the 2018 one, is very RPG.
Yeah, definitely. It's not as, open world. It's not the Ubisoft formula, but
Ubisoft formula
it
sucks. I hate it so much.
But it still leans heavy into that. Spider-Man leans pretty heavy into that. Horizon, definitely. Horizon's almost Ubisoft level. Ghost of Tsushima, pretty heavy, just with all of the
It's a massive
gear and all that, So, yeah, a lot of them lean into that RPG where they start leaving the, Uncharted and Last of Us, purely just story-driven, single player. Yeah. But a lot of these do lean into that. And, I kind of still count them in the same bucket. It's a general bucket, but you can definitely parse them out. But
yeah,
as far as single player, I kind of usually group them together. But you're right.
Yeah, I think the big thing that separates Ghost of Tsushima.
There we go.
From which has a big open world. It's got
Yeah.
the collectibles. It's got the armor you can find, whatever. And Assassin's Creed, like the newer ones, like specifically Valhalla. I think the big thing that separates those two is Ghost of Tsushima makes a point to spend time on the story.
Yeah, definitely.
Origins, the first sort of Ubisoft Assassin's Creed game, put a lot of effort into the story, and it was good.
Yeah.
And then Odyssey came out, and they shoved it up their hindquarters, and it was only RPG. And then they tried. I don't think they tried that hard on Valhalla, but I think that's the biggest thing is like these games, while they are RPG sometimes and can sometimes be a bit Ubisofty in terms of just massive world that you're not going to explore fully. Is there's a story that you care about. People took time.
And I'd say even with Horizon, which is probably the biggest open world on the PlayStation list.
Is it bigger than Ghost?
Maybe not. There's definitely more to do.
I didn't play. I don't even think I got out of the like prologue.
Yeah, I think that there's on Ghost. Yeah.
No, in Horizon.
Oh,
I got through like the first act.
Okay.
And I just started the second, and I was like, I don't want to freaking do this.
I lost interest pretty quick on Horizon. I beat it, but it was a chore. It's probably, like I said, it's probably got the biggest Ubisoft type map.
Yeah.
And you got to do all the towers and this or walking
That's the
dinosaurs
worst.
and all that.
It's like Far Cry. It was cool like Far Cry 3.
Yeah.
And now they're on like Far Cry 28.
Yeah.
They're like, go to Cuba, get up a tower, and turn off the tower.
Yeah. But even Horizon had a story that I cared about, and all of these pretty much do. And then if we look over at Nintendo, they're heavy RPG. And I guess, I don't know if I'd really, looking at this list that I made 6 months ago, I would probably only consider Legend of Zelda to be in this vein. Pokemon is single player and all that, but it's pretty much like just heavy.
It's more just action.
Yeah.
And like
it's less
simulation
story.
type.
It's lore, but it's less like actual story.
It's like piss lore.
Yeah.
It's like like when you're really hydrated and like your pee is completely clear, whereas the
That's
yellow
Pokemon
would
lore.
be the yellow would be the Pikachu lore and substance.
Gotcha.
Sword and Shield was just clear piss.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Probably would taste okay. Like, 'cause there's no like
better than non-hydrated. Yeah.
Yeah, like I think clear pee. I think clear pee would taste better than just
think so,
really like that orangey yellow pee that you get when you haven't drank anything but Trulies for like 4 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would know, but I guess
I wouldn't either. I'm just thinking that clear pee probably better than yellow pee.
I would imagine.
Also probably better than Astral Chain. I don't know if you ever played that.
Never played
That's
it.
on this list.
I put it on the list because
I've never played it.
it
looked cool.
I never played it, but when I was Googling Nintendo single player games, that was on a lot of people's list. So never played it.
It looked cool.
Yeah.
In the trailers, you're like a policeman with a briefcase robot.
Yeah.
And then everyone was like, "Yeah, this is trash."
Yeah. It's too anime for me, but and then we went through the multi-platform, which is the only thing that Xbox has. So, kind of coming off the back of that, I was doing today when I was adding to this, looking a little bit about Xbox, and Phil Spencer actually addressed this like 3 weeks ago, pretty recently, talking to Games Radar. This is a quote from him. He says, "Our strategy is not just to go beat," and so specifically before I go on, Games Radar asked him, Sony is crushing it with these types of games. I mean, just crushing it. That's what all of their games are.
Obliterated in the, what generation are we in now?
We're in 9?
9?
I think.
Obliterated the 8th generation.
Yeah.
It wasn't even close at any point.
Right.
Sony obliterated.
And, they're really gearing up. I don't know if they're gearing up to do better sales-wise, but they're really gearing up to, with PlayStation Studios becoming like this Marvel Studios thing. When you launch God of War now and all that, it shows the PlayStation logo, and you see all of the different Kratos and Nathan Drake and Joel and everybody on there coming like in the letters of PlayStation and all that. So they really have this huge push. So coming back to this, Games Radar said, hey, Sony is obviously thinking single player is what is going to drive Generation 9. And what are your thoughts on this? And he says that our strategy is not just to go and be like someone else. I get a push sometimes of where's your version of this game or where's your version of that game, which, you know, that's what they're asking. Where's your Uncharted? Where's your Last of Us? And he says, I've been in this industry for a long time, and I have a ton of respect for creators on all platforms. And I know many, many of them. But it's good if we're doing something different than what other platforms are doing. We're not in the business of just trying to create a green version of somebody else's blue or red colored platform. So he's saying they're not just...
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
They're not just green PlayStation or green Nintendo. And he says that's not the example of creativity I want to see in the games industry. And I think that it's pretty clear with all of the studios that Microsoft is buying up that heavy story-driven games are not their focus. Like Bethesda has story in their games, but a lot of people don't play Skyrim and Fallout for like the overall story. You kind of go through it for the world that you're in, for the immersion, I think. And, you know, they just bought Bethesda. They've bought a ton of indie studios.
That's an interesting, like, it's an interesting contradiction. Saying that they're not, like, really looking at sort of these massive single-player type experiences, and then they buy the 11 Skyrim, like, sink 450,000 hours and get a divorce. Like that type of a
I think,
company.
though, what he was saying was it's not that they're not going for single-player. They're just not going for, like, getting these big voice actors and these real actors in their games and making these heavy story-driven things. It's because like
that makes sense.
The narrative behind like God of War and the emotion and really the direction that they went versus like Fallout 4, bad example I know of Fallout in general, but there's a lot less story in it. Like it's more of just like you go in. That's heavy RPG. You go in and make your own like simulated person. So, but you're right. It is kind of odd that they went in and bought the single player, pretty much like the single player company, Bethesda.
Yeah.
But
well, and it's really interesting because I was just even thinking about it. I was like, what are some like single player like Xbox exclusives? Because they have a number of like really good like franchises, like Gears of War, huge. I can't say I've ever played them, but I mean, it's a massive freaking thing. You have, I was thinking, Sunset Overdrive, not that fun, but it was an interesting game.
It's funny because that was Ratchet and Clank Studio, that was Insomniac.
Really?
Yeah.
Insomniac Games. Yeah, I'm thinking of that right
Spider-Man, Ratchet and Clank. They went to Xbox for a little bit.
They had Quantum Break, which was this. I mean, it was like everybody like, shut up! Quantum Break is supposed to be this god tier level game, and everyone was like, it's just okay.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, where you could like stop time.
Yeah.
And it was supposed to use this cool like technology, and then like you played it, and it played like doo doo.
Yeah.
And then the biggest one, Fable.
Yeah.
I played the second
which is coming
and
out.
the
They're
third.
remastering or redoing.
Oh damn, man! And I got a freaking PlayStation.
Yeah.
Fable 2 or Fable 3. People didn't like Fable 3, but Fable 2, I like both of them.
Yeah,
they're really freaking good. And so it's super interesting that they're like we have all of these, like, you know. They spent time on some of these games. Some of them are really freaking intense, and then others are just like, okay.
Yeah.
But, like, they have these IPs, but they're like, we're not really going to put the type of effort that I think, you know, good Lord, if Sony had the rights to Fable, be phenomenal.
Yeah.
But they're like, you know what? We're going to go ahead and make a 15th Forza.
Yeah.
I think that's a good idea. Forza Horizon. Because everybody likes racing games.
Yeah. But that's kind of always been Xbox's thing. Like, if you wanted to play, and I think that's why the 360 just crushed the PS3, is because that was the era of multiplayer,
Yeah, that's true.
and everybody, they had the better network service.
Mm-hmm.
They had the first premium service, and still to this day, their party chats are better.
100%.
Their networking is better. All of their online stuff is better, but that's never really been my thing. I enjoy it, but especially now, like I played Splitgate with you a couple nights ago. That's probably like the last time I'll play online until next August. Like, it's just not a thing for me.
Yeah.
So,
by the way, quick side note: Splitgate, genuinely good.
yes.
That game came out in 2018.
Did it come out for consoles though?
No, it was
Just
PC.
PC.
It was PC exclusive. Had a horrible launch.
Yeah.
Like, people did not care. It got ported, and now it's super popular again. And it is so much fun. It's still in beta, which is insane.
Yeah.
But they got I don't remember who they got it from. They got $10 million to polish it out.
Really?
Yeah. Because it's only a couple of people.
Yeah, I know. And I was talking to another guy the other night, and I said, Portal was hugely successful.
Mm-hmm.
What took people so long to use this mechanic in another game? Like, why?
What do we take the portals, and instead of giving them
Put them in Halo.
fat bodies, put it on Halo,
Yeah.
give it some freaking Fortnite garbage,
Yeah.
and tell them to shoot them? It's a good idea.
I think it also meshes with the Halo gameplay the best. I think playing that with a COD style
it feels
would be
very,
weird.
Oh, no. Yeah. It feels very Halo-y.
Yeah. I
But
like it, though.
I mean, and it's funny because it's got, like, the total side tangent. Like, it takes so many assets from so many different games.
Yeah.
It's got the loading, like, the home screen of Fortnite.
Yes.
When you do, like, the boost, that's Black Ops 3 to a T. Like, it feels and plays exactly like Halo. The battle rifle is just the battle rifle.
It's
from
exactly
Halo.
Yeah.
We were talking before. One of the maps is straight up a Halo map.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, how are you getting away with this? I'll buy the battle pass.
You'll buy the battle pass?
I don't think that it works like that. I don't think you could. It's not like Call of Duty where you have to buy the battle pass.
Uh-huh.
I think you automatically, because I looked. I was like,
Uh-huh.
I'd probably buy the battle pass. If
Yeah.
it was like $15,
Yeah.
I'd probably buy it.
Yeah.
But I couldn't find it. And it looked like it's free,
Interesting.
but
Might be free for the beta.
maybe. That would be smart.
Yeah.
I mean, it's already free to play.
Yeah.
So might as well.
Might as well. Yeah, I think it'd be smart of them to get a big audience, and then when they go launch full,
Yeah.
they could do that. But
Monetize
it's super good. I mean,
Fun
I
game.
love playing it.
Fun
It's
game.
awesome.
It's the exact opposite of what we're talking about.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about multiplayer. I mean, we're kind of talking about it
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah.
And then kind of talking about the fact that and I'll use Destiny, sort of, the Avengers, big time. And what was the Xbox game? That actually, it wasn't Xbox. It was cross-pop Anthem. It just reminded me of an Xbox game.
Oh, yeah.
So this is a quote
Terrible.
from Shigeru Miyamoto.
That's
I don't
the.
know who that is.
You don't know who Shigeru Miyamoto is?
No, who is it?
That's a freaking Nintendo guy. That's I think that's
No.
yeah, Miyamoto.
I know who Miyamoto is. Did I just not know his first name? Hang on.
Probably.
Hang on.
I could be wrong. Don't look it up yet. I want to guess.
Okay.
I think that's either the Zelda guy or it's
I
the
can
like
look it
one of the heads of Nintendo. I'm pretty sure he's the Zelda guy.
All right, let's see. Frick. It is the Nintendo guy.
Yeah.
I don't know my stuff. Why am I on this podcast? Why do I have this? I have to leave now. I'm just going to leave this to you. Forgive me. Anyway, this is a statement from Miyamoto.
Yeah, Miyamoto.
And he says, a delayed game is eventually good, but a bad game is bad forever.
Mm-hmm.
And he says this is classic Nintendo. Delay your game, release a really good game,
And then never put it on sale.
He says, or the author of the article says that it's a statement that they felt like would never fall out of fashion, but now modern games are never finished.
Oh, yeah.
So bad games become good games become bad, and all games from every genre have social components, microtransaction, events. So that statement is still true to a degree. I'm all for delaying a game if it means it's going to be good and you're not going to release garbage, shovelware. But now it's kind of, even if something is good at start, and it's kind of my fear with Splitgate and everything, that it's good now because it's bare and it's fun and it's fresh. But then when they start piling stuff on, I'm going to hate it.
It's like
I'm afraid of that.
You ever heard of Warface?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like
I liked that
apparently
for a while.
back in the day when
Yeah.
it was like in beta or whatever.
Is that really, really, really big shooter on PlayStation? I think it's on multiple stuff, PC and PlayStation.
Oh, no, you're thinking of Warframe.
No. I know what Warframe is. I think it was. Was it on PS3? Yeah, it was on
Warframe?
PS3. No.
Or Warface?
Yeah, it's Crytek.
Yeah, no, like it started out and people really liked it. But then I was watching a video about it yesterday.
Oh, yeah,
it
this is not what I was thinking about.
slowly became just entirely either microtransaction and then at one point pay to win.
Yes.
And
I
they just,
have
like,
played
ruined
this,
it.
though. It was fun. I played it back.
Ton of fun.
I played it back.
And then they killed it.
Yeah. I played it probably back in 2013.
Why am I burping so?
Is that truly?
It's a
Tell
truly.
ya.
The tropical punch. Truly.
It's pretty good.
It's not bad.
But yeah, so now even with single player games, that's kind of my fear is what they initially release is good. And they kind of did this with Uncharted 4 is they initially released a game. They never touched the story mode. That was good the whole way through. But the multiplayer.
Oh, yeah, it had a multiplayer.
Yeah, and it was super fun.
Really?
Yeah, I loved it for months. And then they started putting in, here's a loot crate. You can pay to get really good weapons.
Yeah.
Not fun anymore.
Yeah,
Or you
it's
can
hard.
get special grenades, or you can get power-ups, and it started not being fun.
Yeah.
But the other side of the coin is it can be really bad, like Battlefront 2, and then become really good. So,
yeah.
but again, that's more in the vein of online.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it still applies.
But yeah, I mean, the fact that it's you're right. It still applies. It goes like it transcends boundaries.
It does. If only I could just buy a game like good old DK64 again, complete in the package, perfection.
Can you
until
imagine?
today.
Like, what do you think Nintendo would do if they remade it? How they would handle that chick Kong? Not
Candy?
yeah,
Yeah,
the one that was like
right.
I mean, when did that come out? Like, you think
96,
96?
98 maybe.
And she was like hypersexualized. It's like
Yes.
Lola Bunny from the
Oh, yeah.
first Space Jam, and then
I played it.
They showed off what she was gonna look like, and everyone was
Yeah.
like, "Are you kidding me? No!" Like she looked like a dude,
Yeah.
and everyone was like, "You, God."
I mean,
You
I
think
thought
they'd
about
do
that because I was playing that before I started playing Ratchet and Clank, and I got to Angry Aztec, and that's the first time you see Candy,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, "Holy cow!" Like this would, but it's not surprising because they made Conquer,
Yeah,
that big, the flower and everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So not surprising, but I don't know. I would hope they
Do you
wouldn't
think-
take it out. That's
do you-
just
well, like you run into a problem where that probably wouldn't fly.
Yeah.
But if you do what they did to Lola Bunny,
yeah.
you're really
I think there's a good middle
wasn't.
ground.
Yeah. What if I had this idea when I was saying that? I was like, what if they just made her look like an ape?
No,
Like they try to make her look
that'd be
humanoid.
weird.
What if they retconned the original design? Just made her look like a silverback gorilla. Just
Like DK.
Well, not even because he
bigger
looks
than
like a
DK.
cartoon gorilla.
Yeah.
They went hyper realistic.
Oh, and just so you're saying like they remaster it, but they keep the design. They
Yeah.
they 4K it, but instead they actually put like
It
ray
looks like
trace gorilla.
Harambe. That would be so freaking good. Oh my gosh. They went from
I
this
could get over that.
hypersexualized 38 polygon whatever with freaking pointed badonkers
Yeah.
to just like aggressive ape.
I could get over it if that was the case.
Dude,
It'd be too funny.
I would want to buy it solely for I would want to buy it because that's a fantastic game.
Yeah.
And if that ever were to happen, Nintendo would charge $60 and then re-release probably the original 64 and charge $60.
Yeah.
But I would buy it just to like see Harambe candy.
That would be so funny.
That'd be so freaking great.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that wouldn't carry over from back then, but
It was funnier times.
yeah. So I got a fly buzzing around. Sorry.
Yeah,
Fruit fly.
there's been a fly in my apartment.
Well, it's just a fruit fly.
No, I know.
Oh, okay.
And it's been flying around. I have tried my absolute hardest to kill that thing. I can't kill it.
Dude, I have so many at home. I have to buy traps. So I thought maybe it just like flew in with me. I don't know. Came in
like,
my hair.
Like
Came out of my ponytail.
you didn't even have like head lice. You just have fruit flies. That'd be the most disgusting thing. I think I'd rather you have head lice.
Like, you know, the bun back here, it's actually wrapped around an apple. That's what it is. That's how I get the shape.
Just like holding still water. That's so gross.
Oh my gosh.
It's like a gross little Fuji apple in the back of your head. Like a half-eaten Fuji apple.
Oh my god. All right, well, getting back to these games, I think the reason that, because I definitely went through a time during the PS3 and 360 days where I didn't play these. Like I was Call of Duty online.
That was the thing.
Yeah, that was
like,
the thing.
What you think? Like the late 2000s, early 2010s. That was it.
That was
just Call of Duty.
Yeah, but I think the reason that, especially now, because even on my PS4, I played a decent amount of online stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But since getting like midway through college, and especially now, I've pretty much just only played single player games. It's because I don't like shooters really anymore, except for Splitgate. But I would like to play like I liked somewhat Monster Hunter World for a little bit.
Yeah, you really had to.
Yeah,
you had to commit.
You had to commit, and I would play, but I could only play a couple hours a week. And all of like my brothers who are younger than me, and some of my other friends who are younger than me would be like maxed on a ton of stuff, and I'd come back in and I couldn't even keep up. It was dumb, and I couldn't keep up. And even with shooters, with the skill cap, and I noticed this back in early Corona days, heavy quarantine. Modern Warfare had come out the October before the January the March when everything went really bad. And so I got back into shooters then.
Oh, the
Modern Warfare remastered.
Modern Warfare.
Yeah. 2019 one.
Redo, yeah. With like a Warzone and everything.
Right.
Yeah.
I got back into shooters then because I was at home for months.
You had nothing to do, yeah.
And that was my social outlet again, like when I was 16 and had no friends. And then I still then noticed, at working a full-time job and then, having other responsibilities, it's almost impossible to keep up with the skill gap. People just get way better than me.
Call of Duty, like, you're not at all wrong.
Yeah.
But I think Call of Duty has also always had the sweat.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to hit, like, because Call of Duty was like the thing, and then Ghost came out. Call of Duty Ghost came out, and I feel like it woke everybody up like, wait a minute, I didn't think it was all that bad of a game.
Yeah.
But everybody else was like,
I remember,
this is bad.
Mm-hmm.
And then they hit, I mean, they didn't hit, they missed on game after game after game after game after game after game. And then 2019 Modern Warfare came out.
Yep.
And, like, it brought back that old feeling. And so, like, it brought back the sweat. It brought back the greasy grime, lowest life form, like, worse than murderers type of people. And so, like, but you're entirely right.
Yeah.
Like, you can't keep up with, unless you're playing constantly, you're not going to be able to keep up with the grime.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah. I mean, so I eventually just kind of gave up and went for single player games.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that they, in general, are more adult friendly. And I think that's why people late 20s going into their 30s, millennials specifically, are playing these games. And I know that we are, like, either, depending on the definition, very tail end of millennial or very top end of Gen Z.
I think I am.
You might be
When were you born?
96.
I think it. I've seen predominantly that it ends
95. 96.
Really? I've seen that it's 97. I've
97?
read more often that
Okay.
I'm like the first year of Gen Z
Okay.
than I am the last year of millennial.
Okay.
I know that I'm either like you said, I'm either
It's
the end or the very beginning.
Yeah.
The alpha and omega. That was sacrilegious. I shouldn't say that. I'm sorry.
Ooh. Anyway, so Reddit, when I was looking, I was just Googling around. I clicked on a Reddit link, and the number one Reddit answer for, other than being, I'm an adult, I don't have time for playing single player rather than multiplayer, is I hate people and I don't want them in my game.
What a cringe answer. That's
I know.
Such like I really don't like people. I would rather just be by myself all the time. Like that, like garbage, you know, the super outgoing person's like, I hate people.
Yeah.
All right, shut up, Nancy. You freaking troglodyte. Why are you crying in the back of the Moe's?
It's oddly specific.
Yeah,
I feel
it's
like
because
you
I
probably
know a
had.
Nancy that cried in the
I
back
was
of the
gonna
Moe's
say, yeah, I
all the
feel like
time,
you
and
had
I was
to.
like, "You're the manager. I get paid $9 an hour. What are you doing?"
Hey, that's pretty good.
What?
That's pretty good. I didn't get paid $9 an hour until I was like 22.
Yeah, you know when I started working there?
When?
22.
Hey, that's the year of $9 an hour.
Yeah.
Anyway, apparently there's a website called Grown Gaming. A little bit cringe, a lot of bit.
Dude,
but
that sounds yikes. That sounds like a Leisure Suit Larry type of exclusivity
yes,
type of gamers.
yeah. So anyway, they had an article just about being an adult playing single player games versus multiplayer. And they said, let me see here. Actually, this may just be a bad article. We may just skip through it. But they were saying basically that single player is really good for like simulation, immersion. So if you're looking to do that and really get into, like, for people that really like books or really like movies and really get into them, what'd you say, nerds?
No, just keep going.
Okay. I was going to say they really get into things like we were talking about earlier, like Bethesda games.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's necessarily, as I'm reading this though, necessarily a adult gaming thing, because you get sucked into that. You don't have time to play any of that. I don't have time to play through a whole Skyrim.
I don't have any. Yeah.
Like, I can't imagine
it anymore.
Yeah. So I don't know if this is even a great case for this. Like, when I think like this, I'll play Ratchet and Clank. I'll get through like a fight, pause it, rest mode, come back to it 2 days later, pick it back up.
I think that's the big draw towards these types of games nowadays to people that are like working class is you were able to put it down, pick it back up. I think an off sort of what's the freaking word I'm looking for? Sort of roguelike.
Okay, yeah.
I think that's why roguelikes are really starting to pop off.
Yeah.
Is because
They're
have
just short spurts.
that put down
Yeah.
replayability.
Yeah.
You can play for 20 minutes, have a really good time, tons of action, tons of adventure, if you want to call it,
Yeah.
and then put it down, come back to it tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's the same premise every single time.
Yeah.
So I think that's why people really enjoy it, is because they don't, like, the older that they get, the more responsibilities that they have.
Right.
And so you're able to just pick it up, put it down. You have an hour. You're able to play solidly without a whole lot of, with a narrative game, it's like a whole lot of talk, dialogue, and thought, and all of this crap. Whereas freaking Binding of Isaac or
Hades, good
Hades,
example, yeah.
There's one, Neon Abyss, I've been playing. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You just pick it up, you shoot some stuff.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Turn it off, and you go just, put money in your 401k. I just got a 401k.
Hey,
I
nice.
don't know what the hell I'm doing.
I still don't.
I put $70 into it. I don't know what I'm doing. They're gonna
paycheck.
match. Huh? They match. Yeah.
Okay.
They match up to 4%. It's
Nice.
not bad.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm
poor.
That doesn't sound poor to me.
It's
We got upper class.
$70 a month, baby.
I'm out of my league over here. Anyway, yeah, that's a good point. I hadn't thought about that with the roguelikes. That makes sense because Hades got like Game of the Year above at IGN's Game Awards. Got like more Game of the Year awards than The Last of Us. Than
Do you remember what won?
I don't remember. It might have been The Last of Us 2 that won.
Really?
Yeah.
I heard most people that really didn't like it.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of politics around that.
Yeah.
I still don't know. I haven't played it. I'm still trying to avoid spoilers, but I'm pretty sure that there's politics around that.
I read some stuff. There is. They kind of like went real, to use the term woke.
Real woke.
What people would say is woke. Just to kind of hit that niche.
Yeah.
Which is like if we're just being honest, I think it's a strange niche to try to hit in video games. Like
it is a strange
because
niche.
you're generally dealing with the grime and the sweat of Call of Duty.
Yeah.
I need to see a doctor. I'm burping so much.
Yeah, you do. Gastrointestinal.
I'm something.
I agree on that note, but I won't get too into that.
Yeah.
That's a good point, though. That's not really their audience that's buying the games.
Yeah.
That's more of the audience that is taking a screenshot that they've seen on IGN, posting it to Twitter using the hashtag, but then never spending $70 on their game.
Probably.
Yeah. I agree. Let's see. I don't remember. There's a bunch of links on IGN. It doesn't say who won overall, but I think it was The Last of Us 2 that won overall. But
Okay.
Hades
was up there.
was
I remember
killing
that.
it. They were in the top 3. I think it might have
Yeah.
gotten silver. And it's an indie studio, just tiny little studio. And I mean, and they won overall more awards than anybody else. They got like music, they got style, they got
Roguelikes.
gameplay. Yeah,
They're intense.
killing it. Yeah, I haven't played Hades yet. I want to. I haven't gotten to it yet.
It's coming out on PS5 here relatively soon.
See, my Switch is like my indie machine, which I was getting ready to talk about next. Is I think that's a big reason. I think it's funny because the Switch's marketing at first was a lot of kids.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you noticed a couple months into it, their marketing started becoming like people in their 20s, people in their 30s, picking this thing up. Because if you have kids, if you're on your way to work, which I have to drive, but for people that live in big cities, if you're on a subway or whatever, you can pull that out, play a roguelike really quick, put it back in your bag, and play it on your lunch break on the way home.
It's the more advanced version of phone gaming.
Yeah, that's
like
true.
it's like Candy Crush. Candy Crush is a piss poor roguelike.
Yeah.
It's actually not at all a roguelike. I don't know. That's a horrible freaking
Well, I wasn't
analogy.
listening. That's why I said I was looking at our time. But I get your point. I get your point.
Yeah, it's the gamer's version of Candy Crush. A roguelike. Just pick it up, play for a little bit, put it down.
Get your
good to go.
dopamine hit.
Get that just sweet like
and
then put it down.
Exactly.
It's like drugs.
It's like drugs. So, I mean, dopamine is a drug in your brain. You make yourself.
Dope.
That's what it's dope. You ever heard of dope? It's not weed. It's dopamine.
There's a band called Dope.
Uh-huh.
Played in Guitar Hero 3.
Uh-huh.
There's this one song that I listened to it back, and I was like, "This is the." I remember as a kid being like, "Let's freaking get it," and like I listened back to it, I was like, "This is the dumbest freaking thing I ever heard."
This tends to be how I go back and play Guitar Hero.
Yeah.
Sadly. I do have a couple of other articles here that I wanted to talk about. We're getting sort of close to time. I want to make sure that I get these in, as I gotta make my opinions known.
That's what they came here for.
Yeah.
They came here for our opinions.
So this is the article actually where I got the Miyamoto quote, but they're basically here talking about single-player games making a comeback. So we'll skip over that because we talked about that. But this one is from CBR, which I think is what comic book. I don't know. They don't have their freaking thing up there anymore. It just says CBR. I think it's comic book something. I hope I'm right. Are you Googling it over there?
Freaking no clue. There's a
It's just CBR. I think that they used to be
there's
comic
a studios thing on Instagram. If it's what I'm thinking of, they're based in Woodland Park, New Jersey. I have the address.
I mean, that's not what I was looking at. but
Okay.
CBR, I guess they're just CBR. I think they used to be comic book something, but now it says comic book, TV, movies, games. Anyway, regardless, CBR.com. So they're saying ever since video games took on more of an online presence on consoles, multiplayer modes have evolved from a secondary feature on a title to one of the prominent forms of gaming. Thanks to the popularity of games like Fortnite, Warzone, and others, multiplayer features now overshadow single-player experience, but this shift in focus has had a negative effect on the single-player experience. So I think that really a game that they're talking about here specifically is probably Call of Duty, because they left out campaign for a while, and a lot of people like campaign. I liked it. It was okay in the most recent ones.
The Call of Duty campaign?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't played it. I don't think I've played a campaign since Black Ops 3, but
Black Ops 2 had the best campaign, and
I
if
love Black
anybody
Ops 2.
wants to argue with that, I'm fine to kill you.
I did love Black Ops 2 campaign.
It was
but,
fantastic.
You know, they started where you play Call of Duty for the campaign. They started out as single-player games.
Yeah, those old school ones.
Yeah.
I played that as a kid.
Yeah, like 1, 2, 3,
Mm-hmm.
and then I think 2 or 3 was online on PC, but that's it. And then 4 was Modern Warfare. But even after that, there was still heavy story mode stuff in it. Like all the Modern Warfares, all of the Black Ops, very heavily story oriented. And then they just were like, we're just going to take it out. And then it was purely multiplayer. Battlefield did that too.
Yeah, what?
I think Black Ops 4 was the one without a campaign.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then they brought it back in Modern Warfare.
Not World War.
Oh, the World War II.
The World War II one,
Yeah.
where it had
I didn't play that.
fantastic graphics.
Yeah.
I never played it either.
Yeah.
But everyone said that the single player was pretty good.
Yeah, so the article here is just bringing attention to it went from a secondary mode. Even Fortnite wasn't supposed to be single player, but it was supposed to be.
It had more of a story.
Yeah, it was more like it was a online campaign. You could play a single player.
Yeah,
but you could play a co-op. It was a co-op campaign. Then it went totally off the rails and went to BR, and it wasn't even supposed to be that way.
Yeah.
So later down in the article, they're saying most gamers love to play next-gen games with their friends, but there's still a percentage of people that enjoy features and adventures of single-player experiences. It says games will always be tailored to solo players as equally as there are to online, but the issues lie in the lack of attention a title gets once the story is complete. That they just lose relevancy, which is true. So they say, I don't think that you'll like this point. They say RPGs like Valhalla, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, offer a great template for how the single-player experience should be tailored in the future. The game doesn't offer an online multiplayer, but it does make up for it with seasonal events and add-ons that further the character's narrative as work is done on future updates and installments. However, for games that feature single-player multiplayer modes, there's almost always a sacrifice, and typically it ends on multiplayer. I don't like live service single-player games, so I don't know if I would
think
like
that is horribly cherry-picked.
Yeah.
I think that... Well, I haven't ever thought about that. It's not a bad point.
It's not a bad point.
There are good aspects to the point.
Yeah.
Where, like, you think of a game, God of War, reboot. If God of War had that type of a thing where they came out with seasonal events, I think that it's a good idea in concept if you can make it good.
Yeah.
If you can make seasonal events that are fun, that are enjoyable, and that build on the story,
right?
Fantastic. If you're working on the ground floor and you can build up from it, that's great.
Yeah.
If you're working on the sewage, just garbage, rot, disgusting putrid that you have crumbled a fantastic franchise to in Valhalla, and you build up, great. You're not at the sewage. You're still just kind of sitting in the poo water. Yeah. You're not at the bottom grime. You're still in the poo water.
Yeah.
So like they came out with recently like Assault on Paris or France or something like that.
In Valhalla?
Mm-hmm.
Weird.
Because it follows the Vikings, and the Vikings just like
went
all through there.
Okay.
But it's like, yes, live service helps the game have a longer lifespan, so Ubisoft has a reason to not make a game a year. But you're still in poo water the whole time.
Yeah.
The game still sucks.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I don't know. I agree with the point.
Just
everything
bad
about it. Yeah, it just makes me want to like gargle.
Nails.
I'm thinking real hard of something funny, and I can't think of anything. I wet the bed metaphorically.
Well, okay. Well, they've got another example, Ghost of Tsushima, and
did that have?
So recently, it's saying months later, it has an impressive story to start out with. It concludes with a door open for a follow-up at the end of the game.
Naturally.
And which is kind of weird because like they could or they couldn't. It has.
I never got that far.
It doesn't have a cliffhanger or anything, but it's like maybe. And so it's probably just to see, and it sold really well, so I'm sure it will.
Probably.
But they said months later, an online component was added that has since received various updates, including new game modes and performance tuning. The online is super fun. It's like
never
horde mode co-op.
I never
missions.
played it, but
really
I did
fun.
hear that people liked it.
Really fun. I think it's getting standalone release. I don't know if it's free. If it is, you should try it. If it's not, don't, because it's not worth paying for.
Hell no.
So it says, this is great for Ghost of Tsushima Legends. There's a window open for more side stories about Jin Sakai that would keep fans of his story entertained and feel noticed. So with the PS5 re-release, what?
I was just, I hadn't thought about it. What's his name?
Jin Sakai.
You know how close that is to Jin Saki?
Pisaki.
It just kind of hit me. That was funny. Where's your point? I was thinking
The Ghost of Tsushima.
Yes.
Is in our cabinet, in the presidential cabinet.
What if Biden's freaking
What if she
rocking
came out and was
around?
cosplaying Jin Sakai and she says
she just like, I don't know why in that game they made that lower lip just freaking dumpy thick. Like it's so big. Like it threw me off every time. I was like, he's a cool character.
Yeah.
Cool story. Cool model. Up until the damn lip. It's so freaking big. It is so unrealistic.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, what were they thinking?
Yeah, it didn't catch me off guard.
I was like, that's a brick. That lip is a brick. I was like, did they just like when they upped the quality and graphics, did it just like did 60 FPS all of a sudden make his lip 2 times as big?
Maybe.
No, that was their model. Because in the art and everything,
Yeah.
he looks like a normal like Japanese dude.
Yeah.
And then you throw him in the game, the dude has got a busted lip and he's grown up with it, and then he freaking got Botox. It's insane.
It's probably
10-pound lip.
I played the game with a mask on the whole time, so that's probably why I didn't notice.
What?
Yeah.
Oh. I did not understand that. I thought you meant like you were wearing a face mask. I was like, what does that have to do with a 10-pound lip?
Jin Sakai was wearing a face mask.
Yeah.
But anyway, recently on the PS5 re-release, the director's cut, it comes with exclusive. I think it's exclusive DLC. Might be able to buy it, but it is DLC.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's an extra island. It's the island of armor, like in
Freaking Pokemon.
Sword and Shield. It's what it reminded me of. But you have to pay for it. You don't get it for free.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get the PS5 upgrade for free. It's like Spider-Man. Like
Yeah.
it's like $40 for the remaster, except I think it's
and
70.
like Final Fantasy 7.
Like Final
The
Fantasy.
intergrade.
Yeah. So
Which that's a big
they
storage-driven thing.
yeah, that is, but it's cross-platform. So
Yeah.
I think I had that in the cross-platform. No, I didn't. I'm just dumb.
Slacker, you had freaking Far Cry.
Ew.
Garbage, Far Cry, garbage. Far Cry. Ubisoft.
I hope you can hear the echo out of your loft in that add dramatic effect.
There's a dog camera down in that corner.
Uh-huh.
You see that?
Yeah.
I wonder if Sarah could hear that. My wife. Wow, I just dropped her name. I wonder.
Probably. It turned red when you yelled.
Well, it turns blue. Let me try.
I didn't this time. I bet your neighbors hear that though. I bet Chase can hear that.
Dude, that freaking. Oh, that wrecked my throat. Keep going with your thought. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. So really, just as a book end here to this, I think that the reason that I've always gravitated towards these is because I've been a social outcast. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. But not really. But that's not the main reason. just because, for one, I've always bought PlayStation, but that's because of these games have always, like Jack and Daxter growing up, Sly Cooper, things like that when those were big, and then moving into PS3, Uncharted, Infamous, The Last of Us, PS4, Last of Us, and then on and on. Those are the types of games that I've liked. That's why I didn't get a 360. It just wasn't big for me. I was always just more into playing things for the story and playing single-player experiences and having more of a... I think that the spending money on a $60, $70, $50, $60, $70 through the generations can go either way. You can say it was worth it for the experience or it was worth it for the gameplay time and multiplayer. So for me, it was just always more worth it for the experience as long as it was a good game.
Yeah.
I've bought some freaking bombs, but yeah, I think that's, and like I said, it is probably my favorite type of game. Just like I'm really looking forward to the one on the Switch. Actually, no, it's a PS5 game coming out. The one that looks like a Pixar movie. The Kana Bridge of Spirits, something like that.
Coney 2012.
Man, that's flashback to Modern Warfare 3 right there. I remember everybody's clan tag was Coney.
Coney, they were screaming, Wiz Khalifa, so are we getting oh, always my weed.
What an era. For a long time, I thought Coney was Kanye. and I didn't know.
You didn't know that Kanye was not actually instituting an army of children in Africa.
I was 13. I didn't know, dude.
I didn't understand either. I was like, my brother had a friend.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, my friend is starting something for Coney, and we want you to donate. I was like, I'm 14. I don't have any money.
Yeah.
I get $3 a week to mow the lawn.
Pretty much, yeah. I didn't get
nuts.
I got fed. Only if I mowed. So, I do have a couple of just quick news things that I found were interesting today. One of them is loosely related to Star Wars, and I think that Star Wars, back in the early 2000s, it was an era of really good Star Wars single-player games. You had the
Unleashed.
The clones. Oh, yeah, Unleashed.
Oh, Republic Commando.
Republic Commandos.
That had multiplayer, but it was very geared toward... Well...
Was it online, though? I thought it was just co-op.
It was online.
Okay.
I played online because I remember that was like one of the first online games I played, and I was like, wait a minute, you're trying to tell me I can play with somebody who's not right next to me?
Yeah.
That's insane.
I didn't know that. I never played it because it was an Xbox exclusive. All the Star Wars games were Xbox tilted.
That one was more specifically PC. Sorry, I'm thinking of Republic Commando.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right. I'm sorry.
I'm thinking of Republic Commando. That's what we're talking about. What do you mean you're thinking of Republic Commando?
Lawrence, am I thinking of the right thing?
That's what we're talking about.
Republic Commando.
Yeah, you're talking about the right thing.
Yeah, Star Wars Republic Commando.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that was PC for a long time.
Well, I played it at somebody's house on the Xbox.
Original
Xbox.
Yeah.
It wasn't on the PS2. A Jedi Outcast was better on the Xbox than it was on the... I think I had it on the GameCube. Jedi Outcast 1 and 2, which just got a re-release. The Bounty Hunter game with Jango Fett was really good. What? What?
No.
You look like you just discovered something shocking.
I thought I saw the light flicker.
So, speaking of those were some of my favorite games too, because that was right in the era. There is Call of Duty, Last of Us, and PlayStation veterans form an independent AAA studio called That's No Moon. And if you get the reference, that's what they say when they first see the Death Star in the first Star Wars movie.
I was about to flip. I was like, what a stupid freaking name. All right.
Yeah, that's what they say. I think Obi-Wan. So I don't know for sure if they're going to be doing Star Wars games, but why would you make your name that if you haven't already figured out a deal with Disney?
Well, who? Oh, okay. Well, I thought, why am I thinking that Xbox had the exclusive rights to Star Wars?
EA does.
EA. That's
EA
what I'm
does, but their contract expires this year. So Disney is handing it out to other people. And coincidentally, this studio just formed.
That's interesting.
From like head people in the space.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, did they cut a deal with Disney and this is going to be Disney's Star Wars studio? because Fallen Order was Respawn, which was EA.
Yeah.
So
They did a good job.
they did a good job. I love that game. So I'm thinking this is potentially from The Last of Us, from Naughty Dog, from PlayStation, potentially going to be a story-driven Star Wars studio.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of, and then former development director at EA also, and former director of product development at Sony Santa Monica Studios, which they got some heavy hitters on this team. So possibly Star Wars there. This says at the bottom, it's worth noting Lucasfilm Games is now working with a wide variety of studios, not just EA, so a partnership on something Star Wars related wouldn't be out of the question. Then again, another recently formed studio with a Star Wars themed name, Twin Suns, has recently said it's working on an original IP. So this is the second one that is Star Wars themed. So this could be Twin Suns and That's No Moon, could be like their two studios. Maybe since this has Call of Duty veterans on it, maybe they're going to be doing Battlefront. I don't know.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah. So
maybe make it not bad.
Maybe that'd be nice.
Maybe don't let things just turn to frickin' just. I don't know.
Speaking of Respawn, though, just as of July 23rd, they put out some job postings hiring for a new single-player game set in a quote-unquote unique universe. This probably is not Star Wars. It's probably something probably not Titanfall Apex universe either. It's probably something, I would assume it's a new IP, but they're doing something single-player now.
What if it's a new Dead Space? Because they're remaking Dead Space.
Yeah.
What if it's a new Dead Space?
Because EA did Dead Space.
Mm-hmm.
So
surprisingly.
That's a good point. Surprisingly, because they were good.
Yeah, they also, you know what else they made?
What?
Tyler Tasmanian Tiger.
No, they didn't. Chrome Studios did that. Did EA publish?
Yeah.
Really?
Because I remember as a kid booting up the PS2 and EA Sports, it's in the game. And then this like,
no way.
Yeah, like Bungie, like crikey, started freaking throwing boomerangs.
I remember seeing recently people trashing the game. They're like, "You're making fun of Australians right now. Like, this is so over the top." Turns out it's legitimately Australian. It's like it's an Australian studio.
Bungie might.
Okay, yeah.
EA
2002.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
They may have made the second one, so I booted up my GameCube.
Wow. And now it's published by EA Games for the GameCube in 2002 for the PlayStation 2 and GameCube. I already said GameCube, but
GameCube.
Anyway, so Respawn hiring. They said Titanfall 3 is definitely not happening, but Jedi Fallen Order 2 is in the works.
Should be.
Apex is, of course, their moneymaker, so it's going to always be there. On top of that, EA is shifting towards single-player games, according to tweaktown.com. I don't know how reliable this is.
Bunch of tweakers.
What were you going to say?
I'm looking on that same site, and I forgot about Dragon Age.
Yeah.
Because that's huge, too.
What was the big deal with the last Dragon Age? There was either...
It was not good.
Is that all it was?
Yeah,
I've never played them.
It wasn't very good.
Okay.
I put in... Because I was big into... not Origins, the other one. 2?
Uh-huh.
Or 3? I don't know. Loved it. Played Inquisition. And I was like, man, this sucks. This is just a hack and slash.
Yeah. I've never played them. I wouldn't know. A lot of people I knew liked them, though.
They're fun.
So, and I forgot Visceral. Visceral Games was supposed to have a Star Wars thing, and I guess it's this Project Ragtag. Actually, this might not be. It looks very Star Wars, so I think it is. EA canceled it, saying that Ragtag wasn't something gamers would want back for a long time. Holy cow. Way to trash your studio. You don't even want this to come out.
You're going to hate your life.
Anyway, it says that they pivoted because they were a couple of years ago, they were like, yeah, we're never making single-player games. Mm-hmm. And then they let Respawn do Jedi Fallen Order. It became the fastest-selling Star Wars game of all time. Blew Battlefront 1 and 2 out of the water. Battlefront 2 was such a disaster when it launched that they probably don't want to ever do that.
2.
They're what?
the remake of
Yes.
Battlefront.
Yeah. I thought
Battlefront.
you said they are remaking, and I was like, what?
They're remaking a 2017
Why?
game.
Oh, The Last of Us is getting remade. That came out 2013.
That's true.
So.
It's like Skyrim. It's always going to be remade.
Yeah. So it looks like the. Sorry, I started reading about. Yeah, Ragtag was supposed to be Uncharted meets Star Wars. So that was the also Star Wars 1313 before Lucasfilm got bought out by Disney was a Boba Fett game that was made by made by Naughty Dog. Anyway, it looks like overall the landscape is changing back to. I wouldn't say 50-50. I'd say over at PlayStation probably. PlayStation's 80-20 almost. But I wouldn't say the single player is back to where it was. I don't think it ever will be because it just doesn't make the money.
Yeah.
Like Fortnite making billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars.
And now Warzone.
And all this stuff. I don't think it's ever going to come back to where it was.
I
But
don't think so either.
I think that enough people now are buying these games to where the market will at least be there for people that enjoy it.
It's definitely getting more attention than they were in
Gen 7
yeah,
and Gen 8.
2018 or 2012,
Yeah.
that whole genre where
Yep.
it was just Call of Duty.
Yeah. And for PlayStation, all of their launch titles have been single player. I mean, Astro, Sackboy, Ratchet and Clank, Horizon, which got pushed back now, but that's going to be single player. Like all of their stuff is single player,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So it's out. It looks like it's coming back.
Yeah.
Maybe
like
I'll
the
buy an
80s.
Xbox to get Fable eventually whenever that comes out.
Dude,
But-
Fable's really freaking fun.
I never played the old ones, but I know that they were really popular. So
Yeah.
But yeah, that about wraps up my thoughts on that. You got anything else to add? Anything you want to throw
Bruh.
in there?
No.
All right.
Yeah, well, there we go.
There we go.
We did that 6 months ago.
It was a lot better this time.
It was. It wasn't because of you. I almost fell asleep last time. Because
Almost fell asleep
I
last
had like 4 hours of sleep.
Oh yeah, I
and then we
remember
started
you were just
recording,
like,
and I was like,
sitting there.
dude,
See, that's why I rambled so much. You couldn't tell me to shut
I
up.
was just like sitting there, like kind of like an old, like dying person, just kind of like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's great, Mason. That's great. But hopefully we didn't do that. If you think that we did, let us know. You can hit us up at our socials. At Twitter, we are at DigiWaypoint.
Yep.
And then on Instagram, we're at Digital Waypoint.
Yeah.
So hit us up, DM us, just freaking chat with us. You want to talk with your bros? Let them know. Let us. I don't know why I said them. Let us know that.
The bros are not us. It's somebody else.
Let them know. No, just fell asleep. If you think that, you're wrong, but let us know. Yeah, be sure to hit us up at our socials. Follow us. Do all the fun stuff.
Rate us. Make sure.
Rate us anywhere that you're listening to this podcast. If you're listening on Spotify, apparently we're still in the Stone Age. We
Yeah,
don't
I
freaking
guess so,
know.
yeah.
It's freaking garbage. If you're listening to us on, iTunes podcast or whatever, Apple
Yeah,
Podcasts.
Apple Podcasts. You can rate us
All
there.
right, dude, sure. Rate us there. If you need some visual stimulation, hit us up at our YouTube channel. We're
Yeah.
Digital Waypoint. Bet you couldn't guess that one. And like us and share us. But that's about it.
That's it.
That's it. We've come a long way. We recorded that episode in February. Now it's August.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing is, after all that time, some things never change.
That's right.
And one of the biggest things that has never changed is this time of the episode. Every single episode. And for those of you that have listened, you understand exactly what time it is. It is time for that action music, baby! Woo!